Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. So I had a fun incident today.
Oh, yeah?
And so apparently my doorbell, now the Nest doorbell that we have, it will, I don't know if it was an update or what, because it never did this until a couple weeks ago, so I'm assuming it's part of an update. But occasionally it'll tell me, like, familiar face at the front door, unfamiliar face at the front door, whatever. I get, like, push messages for it. And it now started saying, package left.
Oh.
And I'm like, interesting. So somehow it's got some logic in it that it sees a package sitting there and it will tell you that there's like a package there. So I was at work today, and early in the morning it said something about like package left at front door, and I clicked it to look at the video screen, and I was like, oh yeah, sure enough, there's actually a package sitting there at the front door. That's interesting. And about like 30 or 40
and then a text later
well,
says,
30 or 40
stolen.
minutes later, I see unfamiliar face at the front door. And I click the button, and sometimes it goes into like directly into like what it's trying to tell you about. If you do it in time, like if it's actually as it's happening, it'll take you into like it'll take, well, if it's a little bit later, it'll take you into the beginning of like that segment of like, this is the person walking up to your house and stuff. But I guess if you do it fast enough, it kind of brings you into a live view of it. And I don't know if it was still thinking it was part of the thing, but all of a sudden, all it showed me was the live view when I clicked it, and it was just no package there anymore. And I'm just like, okay, like there's clearly, we have a babysitter at the house right now. Maybe the babysitter opened up the door and grabbed it. So I'm like scrolling back in the footage, and I scroll back far enough, and all I see is a guy walking open the gate, and I'm looking at the package sitting there, and this guy walking up to the fucking house, and I was like, you gotta be shitting me right now. And like, it's too late, I can't yell through the doorbell because I'm now not in real time, and I know real time there's just nothing sitting there anymore. And so I watched this guy just walk up to it, look at the package, pick it up, walk out the fucking gate, and I was like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, that guy just stole my package. I was like, and holy shit, he stole my package, and he walked it right onto a goddamn FedEx truck and just drove away. Like, he stole the FedEx truck too. Like, what is happening right now?
Did they leave the?
I rewound it a little bit more, and like, it looks like it's the same guy who came and dropped it off. It looks like a FedEx driver dropped off a package, realized it was the wrong. Oh, there's phantoms. Realized it was
sleeping. You have not, I guess.
I guess I have not, yeah. Realized it was the wrong house and came back and reclaimed the package because it was the exact same guy when I went back that dropped it off. And I was just I'm like, oh, the fuck, there goes my package. It got stolen and right onto a FedEx truck. Jesus Christ. Like, this guy's ballsy. He ain't just stealing packages, he's stealing entire trucks.
That's funny.
And he's like, it's like no package left behind. I'm not just going to steal this truck either. I'm going to make sure that last package gets on this truck before I steal it.
Well, at least you didn't. I expect this to be another one of the.
Yes, so did I, as I watched the man walking off my porch with the package under his arm.
That's really cool that it knows a package has been delivered, though.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
I'm trying to figure out what part of the algorithm would be looking for that. Like,
I think you need to test this. I think you need to go put boxes on your porch and see what happens.
That's true. That would be interesting to find out. Because I want to know, is it the fact that does it have to be left there in view of the camera? Or does it kind of recognize, like, somebody had a package and, like, sets it down? What if it's, like, out of view? Because mine, they put it on, like, the little... Sadly, it was too big to fit inside the cabinet thing that's out there. So I'm hoping that's the reason why I didn't put it inside there, not just laziness. So we put it on top of it, which sadly just puts it in a very good plain view of, the street. But it was also still in view of the camera, because if you had put it actually in front of the door, it's no longer in view of the camera. Because it's too low.
So if you test it and it works with just any box, that'd be interesting. But if it doesn't work with just any box, I wonder if it needs to have like a shipping label and it's looking for like a box with a white label or something like that as well. Like, I don't know. You should definitely play around with it and see what it does.
Yeah, I'd be very interested to know what it is that it's actually triggering it. And I'm also just surprised I didn't get any emails that I know of, at least, on the fact that they updated this like part of the software, because clearly I've gotten many packages in the last year that it's
So I was
never told me
reading
that
the
before.
other day about the amount of money the government is putting into facial recognition software.
Right.
I wonder
Which
how
I'm all
many
about, by
companies.
the way.
Okay.
I know a lot of people are
Um,
very against it. I'm all about it.
I mean, I guess I'm one of the people that, I know it sounds stupid to say, but I ain't worried about it because I ain't doing nothing wrong. But I guess mass surveillance is kind of a scary thing as well because you don't know. I mean, I don't know that we can always trust our government. You know?
So, and I agree with you on that standpoint, given by current times are going to be very telling on, you know, the trust of the government for in the future of, our generation,
Right.
millennial generation. I guess we're both millennial. You're not quite a millennial, right?
I think I am. I had this argument with my chat
You
recently,
80 or
and I guess
81?
I'm
So
81.
you're officially a millennial, so yes.
Right.
So, but
I didn't.
our generation, then our generation, and the people behind us are gonna be. I think there's gonna be a way more skepticism and uncertainty about the government based on what's just happening right now.
Right. Yeah. I mean, stuff like that can definitely be misused. But the reason why I guess I brought it up is like, who knows how many of these companies are cooperating with the government to help broaden the use of that. Like your Nest could be, you know, piped right into some government
Well,
database.
I don't. So right now, isn't it? It's a big deal that Ring is. You can be like the local police use Ring. I guess it's the local, but it's a big. Talking about hooking up with the local police departments. They haven't talked about that with Nest, as far as I know, though. But you can apparently go look at like some map somewhere of the customers who are participating with their local departments with their Ring doorbells.
To what end? Like, what are
I
they
think
doing?
it's to help, like they give the police a feed directly into their doorbell system so they can use it for surveillance.
Huh.
I think I don't have a Ring, so I don't know. So I haven't looked into exactly what it entails. I mean, when the police come and ask me for anything, I give them whatever they want.
Yeah, yeah. I
I'm
knew you were
okay with
doing
them
that.
just having access to it if they want it. I guess the nice thing
Right.
is I can gatekeep it, though. If it was like something I didn't want them to see, I could be like, nah, sorry, I
Right.
didn't get anything. Like,
Nah, sorry.
Yep,
It was
sorry
off
about
that
it.
day. Well, who knew?
No. I don't know who that guy who was standing naked on the front porch and waving, hooting and hollering at the ladies was. Didn't see him apparently. It's crazy.
God, this last weekend it was my daughter's birthday, and I had got us tickets to go see Snow White, the ballet. And so we go, and we've seen like Nutcracker at this place. We saw Ugly Duckling. We've seen a couple ballets here before. And in the past, you go and you can't have food in there, but we could always bring water and other drinks and stuff. And so we get there. It's early in the morning, and she was thirsty, so I grabbed us both the water, and she wanted a brownie, and I was like, all right, we gotta eat the brownie out here, but you can't bring that in. So, anyways, she does that, and we go to walk in, and this woman like jumps in front of the door like she's about ready to tackle me, and she's like, you can't come in. I'm like, I thought she was just joking because we just came in. I left my tickets and everything in there, so I didn't have my tickets with me anymore. I thought she was just messing around, so I laugh at her, and she won't joke. And she's like, "No, really, you can't come in here." I'm like, "Why can I not come in there?" She's like, "You have those drinks." And she looked at me like she was
You have
offended.
those drinks.
Yeah, and I was like, "That's never been a problem in the past." And I guess like last year, someone on the balcony spilled a drink, and it went on some people below, and they like this was during some other like little kid event, and they like basically the guy wanted to like his suit like paid for or something, and they couldn't afford it, and there was all this drama, I guess is what I was told. But whenever all this happened, I was like, I'd already gone in there. We'd put our coats and stuff down, and everyone had drinks in their damn. Not everyone, but there was tons of people with drinks in the drink holder. And when she said that, I was like, oh, huh, that's weird because everyone there's got drinks in the drink holder. She's like, show me, and I was like, no, I ain't showing you. I ain't that guy. I'm not gonna tell on people. Though I'd actually kind of told on them just by accident, just by being like, everybody else got drinks.
As
So
you're
yeah,
pointing and like nudging a guy next to you. Everybody else got
Yeah.
drinks.
Like a little bit later, I saw her come in and start like getting on people about their drinks. But it was dumb too because the damn for 2 drinks it was like $10. You know, they're just bottles of water. They ain't nothing special.
Love how you can buy them inside, but you can't bring them inside.
Yeah, it was pretty dumb.
Yeah,
but yeah, it just reminded me of that whenever she was trying to get me to narc on these people, and I was like, no, I ain't no snitch.
I went to a concert at one of the concert halls out here called the Fillmore a couple months ago. Saw Bowling for Soup. It was awesome, by the way. But when we went to go in, they had to like empty your pockets, and I was like, okay. And I empty all my pockets, and I pull out the little teeny bottle. It's like a 15 ml bottle of the vape liquid that I have, and I put it in like the little thing, and they looked at it and said, "We're like, what is this?" And I was like, vape juice, and she's like, "Oh, you can't have that." And I was like, "What do you mean I can't have that? Like what?"
Why not?
I was like, "What? I don't understand. What can I have?" And she's like, "Well, if it was like eye drops or medicine or something, you can have that." I'm like, "Well, you can call it whatever you want to call it then. Like it's it's whatever it is." And she's like, "No, you can't have that." And I said, "You need to explain to me why I'm not allowed to have that, but I would be allowed to have eye drops or something like that. It's not illegal to have vape liquid in here. It's nicotine. It is not, THC.
Controlled substance.
It is vape liquid." And she's like, we've had incidents before where people spilled the stuff on the floor and it made everything slippery. And I was like, are you fucking serious?
Fuck, you can do that with eye drops.
She threw it in the trash can.
Ah,
so I'm
really?
like, I'm pissed off because it's this. I'm like, whatever. It wasn't that full, but it's kind of like, in my opinion, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is just fucked up. This is kind of like principle at this point. We go inside, and you know what? What do? We buy a beer. They serve beer in open top containers. They're open top plastic containers that are just spilling everywhere in the concert venue. And I'm like, you're literally trying to tell me I wasn't allowed to bring something in because you've had people spill it in the past and it's been slippery, but you're sitting there like, it's not something you sell. It's not like I'm undercutting you and bringing in alcohol or something like that.
She's just being a bitch, honestly.
Oh, it was, well, she actually asked, she went and asked her manager to make sure because I was complaining. And no, can't have that.
I mean, I wonder if it's one of those things where she asked the manager, but the manager wanted to side with her.
That's possible. Because of course I saw like 5 other people in there vaping and like filling up their little things. So it's just, I could have just left it in my pocket. They didn't pat me down or anything. I could have just left it in my pocket and not said anything about it. Like they would not have had any idea.
Right.
But I went to a concert. I think I've told you this before. We went to a Firefly music festival a couple times, and literally they were doing bag checks. And I asked somebody about like the bag check, and he was like, "Yeah, we have to check your bag." And I was like, "Okay." And we had so much, like somebody had brought like a bunch of little airplane bottles in there, and I guess what she did, they ended up seeing her airplane bottles, but the guy kind of looked at it, like closed it back up and nudged and was like, "Yeah, go ahead," because a lot of the guys were being cool. They were just doing what they were told to do. I was in like a different line though, and I guess he took his job so literally. He did a bag check. God, I don't remember if it was a pint or what. I think I wasn't ballsy enough to bring in like an actual pint of something. I dumped it into like a Gatorade container. So I had like a pint of vodka in a Gatorade container. But you weren't allowed to bring in liquids in your bag. But you were allowed to bring them in your hand.
Oh, so you had to carry your Gatorade
literally just walked it in my hand out in the open, and he checked my bag and said, "Go ahead, because it's not in your bag."
Oh, God.
And I was like, I mean, that's fine with me. Like, thank you very much. But this is the strangest thing that's going on right now. You're checking bags for liquids, and you're letting me walk in with liquid in my hand because you're just not allowed to have liquids in your bags.
Last year at Disney, I had this one asshole guy check my bag, and I've never experienced anything like this before at Disney. I may have told you about this before, but I always carry a cooler bag when we go, so I can bring snacks. I put a few ice packs in there, which that's another thing Disney changed recently. They always had refrigerators in the rooms there at the Coronado, and the refrigerators had Jesus Christ,
watch behind you.
Getting beat up here. And the
wow, how did you turn to me? That was weird.
And so I could always refreeze my little ice packs or whatever. But this last year I couldn't do that because they got rid of the freezer part of the refrigerators in the the hotel. Anyways, this fucking guy, he takes out everything, literally everything out of my bag. Normally, you know, they'll open up, look inside, move some stuff to the left or right or whatever, get a good look. This motherfucker, because I meticulously pack my bag I normally do it the night before.
That's
so
probably why he looks at anybody whose bag is meticulously packed and coming out.
Well, not only did he pull every single item out of my bag, he took the fucking cooler liner out of my bag. Like, it's not even meant to come out.
Wow.
But he yanked it out of the bag, and I'm sitting there, and I'm just like getting more and more frustrated as he's doing this, and I'm like, and I keep telling him, I'm like, no one has ever done this. I've been coming to Disney for years. I've come here multiple times already. This trip, no one has ever done this. What are you doing? And he's like, this is standard procedure, sir. Please step back. And eventually, like take his job way too seriously.
Beast mode.
Yeah. And like a supervisor walks up at some point and just starts shaking his head because I'm sitting there like with my arms up, like, what is this guy doing? And the supervisor starts really apologizing stuff. He's like, this is not what we do. I don't know what's going on here. And he's like trying to help me get the like liner back into my bag and stuff. And he kept apologizing the whole time. But yeah, it was just like, that guy was a total fucking asshole.
Happiest place on earth, my ass.
Yeah. No, that's the other thing. Like, I've never, you know, whenever you're talking about this, like, it reminds me of Disney because most places are all like, no outside food, no outside drink, or whatever. And Disney's like, fuck it, bring whatever you want.
Right, right. Unless you're this guy. Like, what was he going through for? Like, what did he think you had? Hiding guns?
Know. He was fine with everything in there once he got the fucking liner out of my bag. Yeah, no, it was he was fine with everything I had. He just had to take every single. And meanwhile, you know, there's a long ass line. This was Animal Kingdom. Long ass line of people trying to get in, and like this man's just got the slowest line in history because he's, you know, examining every single item with the fine tooth comb. So yeah. Just a mistake of choosing that line.
Remember Minecon, the last one that was in Florida?
Mm-hmm.
Where we went to the Islands of Adventure, and literally there's the signs of no alcohol and that they're going to do like alcohol checks or whatever when you walk in. And I didn't realize that at the time and how it all worked. And we had literally put in we had dumped so much rum into this Gatorade bottle that it was basically pure rum at this point. And Julie and I were just trying to like chug it down, knowing we couldn't like take it any farther than we were going with it. And we realized how close we were to the entrance to the place. So we're just kind of like, oh my God, there's so much rum here. And we're just like, oh, this is like, it's terrible to try to chug rum, you know? You can remember this was like, you know, 7 years ago or however long it was. So it was a little bit more,
2013.
A little bit more in my drinking shape before the kids and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we walk around the corner and that officer's like, he's like, okay, we need to, you know, check the contents of that container. It's still like halfway full, and we're both like almost basically finished with it at this point because we just can't drink anymore. And I was like, no, don't worry, we're throwing this thing away. And he goes, no, I just need to smell it and make sure it's not alcohol. And I was like, no, don't worry about it. We're throwing it away. Like, it's good. He just, no big deal. And he grabs it from me, he opens it and smells it and goes, good for me. And he shut it and handed it back and let us walk right in with it. And I mean, it was like pure rum. It was just pure rum. I was just like, we were like, what the fuck? Like, so for one, we just sat there chugging half a bottle of rum. And then now we get to take the rest of the rum into the attraction with us.
God,
because he let us do
hilarious.
It. But I was like, no, don't worry about it, because like I just don't want to cause a scene, like of you to be like,
right,
no,
it's just a bottle of rum,
I'm just throwing it away. Like, no, he like stole it from me. I was like, yep, good, go on in. Okay.
God, that same night. So I had been to Universal before, and I thought you could bring alcohol everywhere. So we went to Bubblegum Shrimp.
Maybe that's why. Maybe I talked to you, and that's why we had done that, and then we realized you weren't supposed to, which is why we had such a full bottle.
Right. Yeah, and so we went to Bubblegum Shrimp, but they had this stupid rule, I guess, so people didn't, because you were able to buy alcohol there, because that was in like the City Walk area, and you could walk around with it, but they wouldn't sell you more than one glass at a time. And they were serving these little tiny fucking glasses of Long Island's, and it was frustrating because it'd be like, okay, there's 3 swallows. I need another. Can I get a refill, sir? Like, he'd literally set the glass down. He'd be like, I'm ready for a refill. Don't leave. Just give me a refill. And so I started to ask. I was like, all right, listen, if you can't make this strong, if you can't give me 2 at a time, since these little tiny ass little glasses, can you make a double? And he's like, I mean, double Long Island. He's like, there won't be room for anything but alcohol. And I'm like, that's fine. So that's what we all started drinking. It was me, Crystal, Pause, and I think Rob. And so we were getting we renamed them the Magic or whatever, and it was literally a double Long Island, all alcohol, no Coke, nothing else. And
no Coke. You already take it without the sour mix, so now it's no Coke as well.
Yeah, there's just nothing but just 10 shots of alcohol in a glass. And so when we left there, we each ordered one, and then we walked outside with them, and then we walked back in and each ordered another. That way we didn't have them in our hands. And so we left there with our 2 glasses of 20 shots of alcohol, basically each of us, and started walking to go into the park. And we had already had enough. We probably should have been cut off, honestly. But then we get to the damn entryway. And
you should have been cut off before your 20 shots of alcohol. Your 60 shots worth of alcohol that are walking together now between the 3 of you.
Right. And we get to the entryway, and then they're like, no alcohol beyond this point. And meanwhile, we hadn't drank any of this. So we stood there for like 5 minutes and just chugged those each of us 2 glasses with our 20 shots each. I was so drunk that night. Very drunk.
Yeah, you should have just let them smell it, because apparently they just let you in with it anyway.
No, right?
Nope, smells good.
God, I got on that Harry Potter ride. I remember it broke down right in front of the giant spider. I'm just sitting there drunk off my ass in front of this giant spider, and it was awful.
Oh my God, the good old days of stupidity.
I remember leaving that place, and Lydia was standing on the bridge as you exit, and I remember being with Seth, and I remember going, "Hey, it's Lydia! I need to talk to her." And he just grabbed me and took me away. Never did get to talk to her that night. I wasn't going to be, I don't know why he thought he just was convinced I was about to cause a scene. He just took me out.
I remember
like Secret Service agent
at PAX East when you were discussing the deal with broadband about surviving Minecraft and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And somebody, I don't remember who, I think it was Seth again, that you got really drunk and he wanted to make sure he was by you to make sure that like there was like coherent people speaking at that meeting, and all of a sudden out of nowhere you were gone, and somehow you had snuck your way into a room with just the broadband guys all by yourself.
He kept texting me. I remember that. He kept texting me everything going on.
He was like, he's like, oh God, this wasn't supposed to happen like this. Like
yeah, I forgot. That was when we had that big ass house there in Boston.
Yeah,
we had the party.
We had that good old party.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He was texting me the whole time. What's going on? What are you doing? Like, it's fine. Everything's fine.
I remember you walked out too, and he's like, "So what happened?" And you're like, "It's all taken care of. Like, they're gonna do it for us." And he was like, "What?" Like.
Yeah, no, we worked it out. I think they had been drinking too, to be honest. But yeah, we worked out that detail. The detail is just fine.
It's really funny to watch him. He was, because I don't know how he was like making sure he stayed with you because it was supposed to be there, and it was like you were like a little kid, and like he was like, "Oh, hey, look, a friend of mine just walked in the door. Oh shit, where'd Guude go?" He's climbing the stairs again.
Oh, that's funny. God. That's the first thing he did. God, at the house, you weren't there yet this year, but in Chicago, I haven't been drinking in a long time, really. And so we all get there, and I did not get any sleep the night before flying to Chicago, trying to get ready and everything. And so we get there and like go to the liquor store, get some alcohol and stuff. And I think I started drinking around like 5 or something. And then I don't know what, we walked to dinner. And I remember that. And everything was good there, and I wasn't drunk yet. But at some point after that, like we had drinks at dinner too, and at some point after that, I got drunk. And I remember Seth and I have had an agreement ever since that London trip where he got super drunk. that either one of us are allowed to cut the other off, and we cannot argue about it. Because I tried to cut him off that night, and he wouldn't listen to me, and I think he's tried to cut me off at one point, and I wouldn't listen to him, and so we made an agreement, and if either one of us ever say, all right, you're cut off, we just must abide by. And so anyways, he cut me off that night in Chicago, the first night we were there, and it's good because I was pretty drunk. The next morning I was like, apparently I fell asleep sitting where we played poker at. I like fell asleep just sitting there, and they had to like throw me in bed. And he's
you,
like,
you mean throw you onto the futon
like,
2 feet away?
Yeah, basically that's what they did. That's for the yeah. So yeah, he'd cut me off that night. It's weird when you go so long without drinking, and then you go to drink again, and like you drink like you used to.
And realize it's not good to do that.
No, yeah, and your body's not prepared. Your body's like, "What the fuck are you doing? What is going on? Stop! You're killing us."
Yeah, I remember when I used to when I quit smoking cigarettes like a couple times in the past, and I'd like end up picking it back up again. Occasionally in there it was I quit smoking, but if I went out drinking, it was okay to have to have a couple. And sometimes you just go and be like, oh, I hadn't smoked in a month, and I went out and I bought a pack of cigarettes, and I smoked the pack of cigarettes because I smoked like I used to smoke, and would wake up in the morning and be like, what the hell just happened to me? And
does it like what is it like are there like cigarette hangovers like
they make you feel like nauseous, and your throat really hurts, and you just have raspy voice and stuff all day. Your chest kind of like hurts from something you haven't done in a while. God, I don't even know. Like, it's weird because at this point I haven't actually physically smoked a cigarette, and it's been over 5 years or however long it's been since I quit smoking. I this time that I'm still currently on, I never went back to it. Like, I never okayed to go smoke when I was at the bar, because that's eventually always gotten me in trouble every time I quit in the past and been like, oh, just go have a couple when I'm drinking. It just inevitably leads right back into being a smoker again, but so this time it's been so long, like I don't even know like what the effect would be on me, because it'd probably be I'd probably vomit the first cigarette I had, because it probably tastes so disgusting.
That's good. I mean, at least
yeah, I don't know. And the nice thing is I don't want to know.
Yeah
I have no desire. Like, I'm still getting nicotine fix from from other things. So
you don't, because I know a lot of people, even whenever they're doing the vaping, if they smell someone else smoking,
it's been so long for me now. It's to the point where the smell of it, actually, I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why do you want to, like, dude, why are you outside smoking in my hospital right now? Because that's disgusting.
Right. Well, that's good.
Yeah. I think for a while after, right when I quit, it was like that, but no, not in a long time.
Yeah, I think once you get to that point where you're disgusted by other people doing it, you're probably safe to not have to worry about ever coming back to it.
And it's not only like a personal thing, but just the society has changed since I quit smoking too. Like, so society itself is more anti-smoking than it ever was in the past, and
Yeah. No, I agree with that. No one wants anything to do with smokers anymore.
Yeah.
And they're looked down upon. They're like a different class of people, basically.
Yep. And it's probably kind of a good thing, because it deters people from doing it. But
yeah, I'm hoping my daughter, because that's the thing. I remember being a kid and being like, who would ever smoke? And then there became a point where I tried it. I gave it a shot. Luckily, I never got addicted and didn't do it long term. But every kid, I feel like every kid goes through this thing when they're a little kid, and they're like, cigarettes are gross, I'll never try them. And same thing with like other things, marijuana, any drug, I'll never do it. Drugs are bad.
I used to be so anti-weed.
Have you? I'm sure. Yeah, I don't have to even ask. Of course, you've tried it.
Yeah, a very small handful of times. I don't necessarily think it's for me, but it's I don't see a problem with it anymore. I've seen people's life controlled by drugs, including weed. That's basically all I think about it. But I'll be honest, my life was controlled by nicotine for a while too. So I can't really say that much about it. But I used to buy into all the propaganda about just drugs. Drugs are bad no matter what they are. Drugs must be bad. Oh, medications are different. Those aren't drugs. Those are medications.
Doctor prescribed it's totally fine.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of funny.
But you grow up, you know.
I wonder what 30, 40 years down the road, we're going to look back on and be like, I can't believe because, I mean, you look back at like doctors used to prescribe cocaine and heroin and all this other stuff. And now you're like, I can't believe we ever did that. And I wonder what this current day and age's version of that's going to be.
I'll still be honest that I still get baffled at how many people who I know who are very heavy marijuana users have been the ones pushing for legalization of marijuana that are super anti-smoking. And that's always thrown me off because
it is weird. And it's like, they're like, well, no, nicotine has got tons of chemicals, but marijuana is clean and
right. I'm more of the opinion now, for one, legalize everything, survival of the fittest type of deal. But I can't imagine why there's any point that you would have marijuana illegal while having cigarette smoking and alcohol legal. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You know?
Right. No, I agree. And yeah, I'm also in the camp of just legalize everything.
Yeah.
Like heroin, just legalize it all. I mean, I don't want to do it, but
But I also I'm not of the camp that I don't for a second think that marijuana is harmless. I think that marijuana can be just as bad as cigarettes for anybody. It's inhaling something into your lungs that shouldn't be there. Like, there's got to be detrimental effects. There's got to be detrimental effects to it. But I'm just not, anti it for, it's just the people who try to sit there and claim how it's fine, there's no issues with it. They're full of shit. Like,
I don't think it's in terms of like the smoke is probably not full of as many chemicals.
Oh, absolutely. It's full of way less chemicals than cigarettes are. I'm not saying it's like,
anytime. I mean, shit, if you're standing by a bonfire and you inhale and smoke, you're hurting your lungs. So
with the whole vaping thing now, like, and it's not just clearly there's been a problem and people have died because there's been additives added to things that either shouldn't have been or were accidents or for whatever the reason. But I remember talking to this guy at work who's like, I can't believe people are just idiots enough to do that. Like, they thought they were never, it was so good for them. It's like, no, people didn't think it was good for them, but some people did think it was a better alternative than cigarettes. So you're gonna talk down on them now for trying to quit one habit with something that, in theory, it's just like the marijuana cigarette argument. Marijuana is most likely way better for you than smoking because it's not as many carcinogens, but it's still got to have detrimental effects, just like vaping.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with all that. Yeah, it's. I mean, I think a lot of this is just people justifying what they want to do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, they want to smoke pot, so therefore it's not bad for you. Just like, anyone can justify anything. People that are addicted to gambling justify that in some way or shape or form.
I might win big. I might win big.
I might. When I win the lottery, don't come acting like you want something then when you told me not to gamble now. I was like, oh, okay, I won't. I promise.
Let's wait for that day. We'll see. We'll see who it comes to.
Yeah. But anyways, we should probably get out of here. I hope everyone has enjoyed our episode.
All right, everybody. Episode with sound for good. With good sound.
Bye, everyone.
See ya.